From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Jody Guerrero. Tonight we take a look back at the top stories from our government and justice team. From the city of Phoenix electing a new mayor to how dogs train for rescues after natural disasters.
Arizona is the 5th deadliest state for pedestrian fatalities, according to new data from the Governor's Highway Safety Association. Over the first half of 2018, we had 125 pedestrian deaths in our state, up from 112 over the same period in 2017.
California, Florida, Texas, and Georgia were the only other states with more. The Governor's Highway Safety Association projects over 6,200 deaths took place over the entire year, which would be the largest amount in the U.S. since 1990.
Cronkite News reporter John Cardinelli is live in Phoenix to explain why experts believe the increase is so dramatic. John?
The alarming new report shows the U.S. now has the highest number of pedestrian deaths in nearly 3 decades. The increase happening in 2018 in 25 states and the District of Columbia.
A simple walk could end in the worst way possible.
6,200 of our friends and neighbors are no longer here because they chose to just walk somewhere, and that shouldn't be a death sentence.
The Governor's Highway Safety Association analyzing the numbers across the country and projecting that 6,227 pedestrians died in 2018, the highest number since 1990.
Traffic deaths overall are going down, but yet pedestrians are going up, deaths are going up every year, so it is alarming.
The association also offering insight into some of the causes behind the increase.
We're in bigger vehicles, we're going faster, and the role of alcohol is playing a big role. Not only are drivers many times have had too much to drink behind the wheel, sometimes pedestrians are as well.
Smartphones, also a factor everyone needs to be aware of.
We need to lay out the message to everybody, drivers, pedestrians, and the community in general, okay, of the danger of cell phone use and distracted driving, especially in the protection of pedestrians.
The GHSA says the number can go down with better infrastructure and more awareness.
Take a break, focus on that nice walk, focus on that nice drive, give your mind a break, and it'll help you to get there safely.
The report points to local streets as the most dangerous place for pedestrians. That's where 1/3 of these deaths occur. They also recommend to not walk around at night in dimly lit places. Live in downtown Phoenix, John Cardinelli, Cronkite News.
Governor Doug Ducey has declared Arizona a pro-vaccination state, yet bills thought by experts to lessen vaccination rates are already moving through the legislature.
Cronkite News reporter Jennifer Alvarez is live in downtown Phoenix with more details about what this could mean for our state.
Some say it's a fight for community safety, and others say it's a fight for parents' choice. And the governor will not let anti-vaxxers win. Last week, the House Health and Human Services Committee endorsed 3 anti-vaccination bills, HB 2470, 2471, and 2472, despite testimonies from doctors saying the bills could pose serious risks. They say these bills could cause parents to vaccinate their children less, which would leave Arizona schools and communities at risk for disease outbreaks. The bills would expand vaccine exemptions, give parents more information on vaccines, and offer tests to check for immunity before a vaccine is given. Doctors say the vaccine information wanted for the so-called informed consent bill is unnecessary and complicated to understand. State Senator Paul Boyer, one of the sponsors of the informed consent bill, believes parents should still have more access to vaccine-related information.
I really think that parents love and care for their children. They should know what's going into their child's bodies. And to say that parents are too dumb, that they can't figure it out for themselves, again, I think that has a poor view of parents. Governor Doug Ducey said Wednesday he will not sign any legislation that goes against vaccinations. In an interview with the Arizona Capital Times, he said, quote, "I'm pro-vaccination and anti-measles. I want to see fewer people being exposed to measles and other things that we've spent decades through research and development in the medical industry and healthcare, making our country a better place and a safer place to live." Despite Ducey's statement, Senator Boyer says the bills should still be pushed for. I think that there are limits and benefits to any vaccine. And I just think that parents should know what those limitations and benefits are.
The bills have passed their latest rounds of hearings, but still have to go through the House and Senate in order to get Governor Doug Ducey's signature, which looks like he will be vetoing in case that they do go through. Live in downtown Phoenix, Jennifer Alvarez, Cronkite News.
Throughout Arizona, more than 100,000 children are cared for by their grandparents or other kinship relatives.
Now, 3 bills could alleviate some of the financial strain on the families caring for them. Ariel Salk explains.
Our favorite game.
Kelly Appling is the licensed kinship placement for one of her grandchildren.
Come out so we can play Guess Who. Her mother was experiencing a hard time and asked if I could keep her for just a little bit.
But Appling is no stranger to raising children.
I have 2 biological. I have provided care for 16 additional children since I was 21.
She made sacrifices to keep her family together.
I've run through 401k, savings, stocks, bonds, life insurance, like everything that where any part of money could be.
Appling spoke at the state capitol. She attended the event with the organization Arizona Grandparents Ambassadors. Their goal? To promote 3 bills that would support grandparents and other kinship foster parents.
The cost of taking in these children is great, and this would just offset it a little bit.
The statewide chair, Ann Nichols, says the 3 bills would provide a little extra money to help raise children.
Not like what you would get if you were a licensed foster parent, but it's enough to help with the costs of having children you didn't expect to have.
For Appling, it's more than the financial assistance.
It's not even about, you know, just trying to get free money or free benefits. It's more so of just a change in your household. Like this is a lot.
In Phoenix, Ariel Salk, Cronkite News.
Fatal shootings at houses of worship are on the rise, according to Church Mutual Insurance, prompting the company to host armed intruder trainings across the country in hopes of saving lives. On Thursday, they held a training at a Paradise Valley church that Cronkite News reporter Bayan Wang had a chance to learn more about.
Everybody is got that mindset that it's not going to happen to me.
People always wait to prepare until maybe it's too late.
If a passerby peeked into the Paradise Valley United Methodist Church, they may have assumed a service had gone terribly wrong. More than 100 people from various churches in the valley participated in an armed intruder training, learning what to do if something actually does go terribly wrong.
What's very important for houses of worship and religious organizations to understand is that they are in a unique position when it comes to armed intruders. The whole purpose of a house of worship, a religious organization, is to be open and welcoming people into their mission and into their ministry.
That welcoming nature also poses a vulnerability, according to Guy Russ with Church Mutual Insurance. He says there have been 14 armed intruder cases at houses of worship, which have claimed the lives of 66 people since 2012.
We have to have something in place.
Participants at the event learned several key things they can do if ever confronted by an armed intruder, like alerting those nearby, locking down entrances, and evacuating when necessary. But one thing they also learned was to counter the attacker. And at a house of worship where several holy books are made readily accessible, throwing one at the attacker may just save some lives.
Certainly a book, a Bible, whatever the book is, certainly if we can use it to throw at somebody or to hit them over the head or to use it to distract them.
While fighting back may be the bravest act, former Secret Service agent Jason Russell says there's one step that may save the most lives.
Well, I think one of the largest weakness in terms of active violence situations is the ability to alert other people that it's happening, because you can't start responding until you know that it's happening.
At the end of the training, some left with a sense of urgency.
We do actually need to start a program.
In Paradise Valley, Bayan Wang, Cronkite News.
Church Mutual says they have 6 more trainings planned throughout the country this year. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema has introduced legislation that would directly impact thousands of Arizona veterans.
The measure would expand American Legion membership to include troops who served in between recognized periods of war. Millions of veterans from 12 unrecognized war eras are among those who could join the Legion if the bill passes. American Legion memberships include access to various benefits, like for health and financial needs.
A homeless veteran was given a final salute yesterday in Cave Creek.
Reporter Nicole Hernandez went to the service where hundreds said their goodbyes.
I call on William Melvin Shigab.
This veteran's sacrifice of service honored by the hundreds who attended his funeral. William Shigab passed away, his body unclaimed, but he was given full military honors at his funeral in Cave Creek. Carol Shigab Parker heard about her uncle's passing through the media, allowing her to remember moments with him and attend his funeral.
He's a very funny guy. He used to do this thing called Bronco Bill, where he would pretend he was a Bronco horse and we would ride on his back, and we miss him a lot.
Carol knew him as a kid, only reconnecting with Shigab just 3 years ago while he was in a halfway home.
I was able to see him and just hug him and tell him I loved him, and then we just stayed in contact from then on out.
Was lost, but now I'm found.
Shigab was living on the streets until the day he died at age 59. And almost 2 weeks later, hundreds of strangers honored his life.
It's phenomenal to know that that level of love is there for someone that, you know, these hundreds of people didn't even know.
Several groups came together to make this funeral happen, including the Dignity Memorial Homeless Veteran Burial Program and the Patriot Guard Riders.
We surround our heroes with American flags and then their branch service flag, kind of to protect the hero.
And the process of honoring those heroes is nothing new. The Missing in America Project alone has found over 19,000 unclaimed veterans to date, giving about 1/5 of them final resting places across the country.
It's all about taking care of the veterans. It's their benefit. So that's what we do.
As for the Shigab family, they say they are thankful for the public response the send-off received.
They were almost an extension of our family that couldn't be here today.
In Cave Creek, Nicole Hernandez, Cronkite News.
There are 70,000 veterans and their families laid to rest at the National Memorial Cemetery of Arizona.
The cemetery provides funeral services to any veteran for free. The Phoenix mayoral candidates had another chance to make their case to the public as to why they should be elected. In a debate on Arizona Horizon last night, Kate Gallego and Daniel Valenzuela spoke on topics such as public safety, the economy, jobs, and infrastructure. Cronkite News reporter Madeline Haller was at the debate. She joins us now with the highlights.
The two candidates, who are both Democrats and former council members, agreed on issues like pension debt, but there were disagreements on a number of issues, including the Phoenix Suns Arena and public safety.
Kate Gallego and Daniel Valenzuela went head-to-head in PBS's mayoral debate. With each candidate bringing a diverse set of qualifications to the table, each feels they are better suited to serve the city of Phoenix.
I look forward to building on the work I've already done, leading on things like equal pay for equal work for women, investing in infrastructure, and protecting our water supply.
I'm running for mayor because I want every person in Phoenix to feel safe regardless of where they live in Phoenix.
Gallego, who mentioned her MBA, wanted voters to know that she will dive into the details, take on complicated issues, and listen to her constituents.
I've tried to listen to people in the community. Some of my best ideas come from talking to our residents. For example, when I talked about fighting to make sure that people have the ability to pay their parking tickets, that came from a resident who pointed out how destructive it was to be able to be pushed to max out credit cards, then potentially lose your driver's license and then car impounded.
Valenzuela, who is a Glendale firefighter, says his personal experiences being a first responder has made him proactive.
I'm running for mayor for the same reasons I get on a fire truck, which is to go and problem solve. And you have to be a problem solver in local government. These are real issues that people are going through.
Valenzuela criticized Gallego a number of times, saying she did not lead, especially when it comes to public safety.
So there's a difference between leading on these issues and showing up for a press conference.
Gallego countered that she worked to get money to hire more first responders and led in other public safety issues.
I've also fought and led on making sure we try to remove the administrative burden from our officers so that we can have officers out in the community and have other people doing the paperwork.
Voters have until March 12th to make their decision on who should be the next Phoenix mayor.
Another point where the candidates clashed was on the Phoenix Suns arena. Gallego says she doesn't believe in giving subsidies to public sports facilities, where Valenzuela says he supports the arena renovation because it drives economic growth. In the broadcast center, Madeline Holler, Cronkite News.
Voters headed to the polls yesterday for a special runoff election to choose the next mayor of Phoenix. Residents of Phoenix voted and came out in large support for Kate Gallego.
And the celebration started early at the watch party for the new mayor-elect. And last night, I spoke to Gallego after she declared a victory.
Thanks to all of you, we did it.
A lead in votes that rang in the celebratory cheers.
For the last 17 months, you have been my partners as we have crisscrossed the city. We have campaigned at street fairs, home tours, churches, even roller derby.
Her opponent, Daniel Valenzuela, in a tweet thanked his supporters and conceded from the race. A supporter of Gallego and Phoenix resident was initially divided between the candidates.
Since the general election, she's really proved herself to be the right candidate for Phoenix.
But at the end of it, Gallego standing by her values is what made Gully stick with Kate Gallego.
And I'm excited to see that we are moving forward with her as our new mayor.
Gallego assured supporters that the city of Phoenix will move forward, not only with her role as mayor, but together.
It's such an honor that so many people have voted for me. And I also am honored to serve the people who didn't vote for me. I'm going to work as hard as I can to represent everyone in this city.
This win makes Gallego the second woman in history to be elected as the mayor of Phoenix.
Right now, Mark Kelly's 2020 U.S. Senate campaign is aiming to tackle big issues like climate change and gun control. Cronkite News reporter Bryce Newberry joins us live with a look at the campaign's first rally.
Yesterday was Mark Kelly's second public appearance since announcing his run for U.S. Senate on Twitter about 2 weeks ago. He didn't shy away from the space theme, calling this his next mission for Arizona. On Sunday, Mark Kelly's latest mission blasted off.
A mission is something that you plan for until you can't plan anymore. And a mission is something that has an important purpose. And a mission is something that requires a team.
The Kelly team is being fueled by former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, Kelly's wife since 2007.
He served our country in the Navy and in space. He's tough, he's smart, he worked just as hard as I do. Well, almost.
I never expected my journey to bring me here. Gabby was the member of Congress in the family.
But that's not stopping Kelly from setting out-of-this-world goals for his campaign.
If you want to reward work over wealth, if you think affordable health care is a right, if you want college to be affordable, and if you believe that we need to protect our kids from being shot in their classrooms, and you want to make communities safer from gun violence, be part of this mission.
Sunday's campaign rally drew hundreds of people from all different backgrounds, including Mike Rupp, a registered Republican.
Make America think again, which kind of presupposes that we used to think at one time, and that might be a little overly optimistic, but I think we could think a lot better than we do now.
He's already been really, really high. He's been an astronaut, so I think he's got a wonderful, I think it's in the same vein as John Glenn, so I think he's got no problems with how high he can go.
And that experience as an astronaut launching Kelly into his next chapter.
It's a mission for Arizona.
Over the weekend, the Republican National Committee issued a statement on Kelly's campaign saying, in part, since announcing his campaign, Kelly has been more interested in resistance than securing our border, proving he's just another obstructionist Democrat. Arizonans deserve a leader who will take clear stances on issues important to them from day one and fight for their interests, not just another political bystander.
In the past 5 months, more than 300 refugees have arrived in Arizona. According to the U.S. Department, a nonprofit organization is pushing for legislation that would welcome refugees to Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Ariel Salk met with former refugees to get their thoughts on the resolution.
It's really good and important that the governments or the world, whoever, could really accept and welcome refugees.
Mahanga Donadian is a former refugee born in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He is in support of the Refugee Welcome Resolution.
When I hear about this policy, about this bill that they're trying to pass, to me, I said it's a great gift.
HCR 2027 stands more as a statement than changes policy.
It's just a welcoming bill that states and it defines in the Arizona State Legislature that we are a welcoming state to our refugees that are coming in and that we will continue to resettle them.
Neda Sumik is the state refugee officer for We Are America.
We just wanted to create a very broad definition of welcoming refugees in our state in order to be able to push forward bipartisan work. So this is a great place for us to start at.
Joining We Are America was CASE, a grassroots organization that fight for immigration rights.
A lot of the organizations have kind of been working in silo, and so it's important that we come together, and that's why this initiative kind of sets that stage.
Both organizations, coupled with other former refugees, met at the Capitol for Refugee Day. Their mission, to thank House members for passing the resolution and to encourage senators to follow suit.
So even though it may be a very simple resolution that says, oh, you're all welcome, it is very important because it sets that foundation of us building and organizing our communities.
I caught up with Donadian at the end of the Refugee Lobbying Day to see how it went.
This is something so encouraging, and it's good for refugees to as well know that there are people that love them. Not continuing to hear rumors, but still people, let refugees understand that people still love them and welcome them.
In Phoenix, Ariel Salk, Cronkite News.
More than 6 million people visit the Grand Canyon National Park every year. Some people keep coming back, like 2 Arizona women who consider themselves Grand Canyon enthusiasts. As Cronkite News reporter Gabrielle Oliveira explains, they're setting out to celebrate the canyon's 100th birthday in a special way.
Abby Smith and Ann Kennison started celebrating the Grand Canyon's 100th birthday last Labor Day weekend. That's when they set out on their quest to do 100 things in or related to the Grand Canyon.
Hi everyone, we are still at the Grand Canyon and loving it.
And we worked with groups of friends to brainstorm this list, and as things have changed, we've added or decided not to do things, but our goal is to do 100 things.
Smith and Kennison came up with the idea after hearing 2 adventurers talk about how they hiked more than 750 miles in the canyon to raise awareness about development projects that could change the canyon. Since they started their 100 adventures, they've done everything from eating at the Grand Canyon Lodge to visiting the Hoover Dam.
The Grand Canyon is an amazing place. It's something that people can enjoy, and one of the things that I really love about it is that there's so many different ways to enjoy it.
The Grand Canyon is one of the 7th wonders of the world. Although federally it's turning 100 years old, it was actually formed 6 million years ago. And with millions of visitors annually, sustaining it could be a grand challenge.
I think one of the, something that a lot of visitors don't realize is that, they think I'm one of 6.2 million, but every one of those actions has an influence in the park and has an impact.
Vanessa Sehow at the Grand Canyon National Park says they're making a push for sustainability to celebrate the park's birthday. One goal is have 0 landfill waste in the next 2 years and keep encouraging visitors to pack out their trash. Smith and Kennison say keeping the park as sustainable as possible is important to them.
I really value these landscapes, this space that's been set apart for everyone to enjoy and preserve and protect it for generations to come.
And with a view like this, sometimes it's all about who you're with.
I think my favorite thing is just my relationships with the people and the fun that I've had with my friends along the way.
The women have completed more than 80 activities so far. At the Grand Canyon, Gabrielle Oliveira, Cronkite News.
Search and rescue dogs receive some training right here in Phoenix. And Cronkite News reporter Gabriella Bacara volunteered to be buried alive to see firsthand how rescues work.
To them, it's a game.
It's a game of hide and seek.
The Phoenix Fire Department trains canines to work for national FEMA urban search and rescue teams.
What we found is using the canines, they're very sure-footed. They put their weight on 4 feet. They're very light. These are 40, 50, 60-pound dogs. They can get in here and search this area way faster than we could.
The canines are trained on rubble piles created by the Phoenix Fire Department to reenact a building collapse similar to the World Trade Center.
We challenge them on the sense of smell to get in here and locate these victims and then alert their handler, letting them know there's a victim in the area.
I'm going to hide in this water basin and see if one of the dogs up for certification can come and find me.
We'll be with you shortly.
After a victim is found, there's always a celebration.
Yes, Elvis! Good boy! The scale of it is so massive. For us to go in there with just people with cameras and with listening devices would take too long. We wouldn't find people in time. The dogs can cover this rubble pile in a matter of minutes where it would take us a matter of hours.
Captain Dana Medlin trained Elvis, an 18-month-old Labrador, for the FEMA certification test.
We'll have 2 piles roughly this size. They have to find 4 to 6 victims without alerting on distractions or missing any victims. If they do that, they become one of the approximately 200 certified urban search and rescue dogs for FEMA in the United States.
Medlin says it takes a hard-working canine to pass the test.
There's no guarantees that they'll take to this kind of work, that they'll love to be on the rubble, that they'll have enough play drive.
The training alone takes thousands of hours.
To them, it's fun. They're going out there, they're barking, they're alerting, they get a toy, they get to play, we love them, we play with them a lot, and to them it's the greatest thing in the world.
In Phoenix, Gabriella Becerra, Cronkite News.
All of the dogs trained by the Phoenix Fire Department passed their test to become a certified FEMA search and rescue canine.
That's it for this special edition of Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.